This is our first tutorial. I think a lot of people really wanted to learn how to play piano, or actually know how to play piano, but learn how to spruce music up. This is for those who already know how to play piano, that know about the keys on the keyboard. And I'm starting from bass C to treble C. Try to keep everything in this area right here so you can see it. Obviously, you can use any part of the keyboard you want to, but we try to keep it basic for right now. Everybody's asking, how do you do this, Warren? How do you do that? How do you do this music? And so, what we're trying to do is do several tutorials that will kind of help you understand how to do my music. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube, and there's a very good tutorials on YouTube. So I'm not knocking those at all. There's some really good ones. I've learned some from tutorials as well, but it's more of a personal thing. Just kind of have different styles, different angles of doing things. I'm combining mine with by ear and by theory, because everybody knows me as a very technical person. I'm the technical man. So that's how I'm gonna go about this. First thing, we want to let you know that if you have a notebook, please feel free to grab a notebook, grab a piece of paper, write down things I'm going to mention, because I'll be going kind of fast, because I only have 10 minutes actually 15 minutes per tutorial, and I don't want to draw it out too much. Alright, so today's tutorial is going to be very basic. We're going to learn how to invert chords. And whenever I teach my students on how to improvise and how to do things like that, one of the first things I do is I teach them how to invert chords. Inverting chords are really good for a different sound, different point of view of everything you want to do. So let's start with the first inverted chord, should be the C chord. Everyone knows about the C chord. C chord is, I do key of C because that's the one everybody is very used to. Feel free to transpose if you know how to transpose. So obviously instead of doing key of C, you want to do key of A or whatever, the A chord, things like that. Alright, so first we're going to do is learn how to invert a chord. And then we're going to go from inverting the 1 chord, which is the C chord. We're going to try to do on the basic chords, which is the 1, 4, and 5, which in the key of C is C, F, and G. That's your 1, 4, 5. C, F, and A. Sorry, E, C, F, and G. A lot of times when people play music, and this goes for gospel and contemporary Christian because I do both. A lot of people, when they play the very basic reposition chords. Like a song like Lord I Lift Your Name on High is one of the good ones, and that's our default song I'm going to use for this right here. Obviously you know that C chord has C, E, and G, F chord has F, A, and C, and my G chord has G, B, and D. So basically inverting chords, what it is that you're taking each note of the chord, so we're going to start with C, and you're actually giving each of the notes a chance to be the root. The root meaning being the bottom of the chord. So in the case, root position is one we were talking about the most. And root position is that when the C is in the root. Alright, so if I take my root position chord, C, and I give my E the chance, the third, to be the root. So now I have E, G, and C. All I did was I switched around my root from C, E, G to E, G, C. So now I have my first inverted chord. Okay? I'm going to go back down here so you can kind of see it. You have a C, our E, our G. Flip it around, just invert the next one, which would be the E. Now we have E, so I have G, and I have C. Put a C on top. Next, if I do the same thing with my E, instead of my E being my root, when I make G my root. So now I have G, C, and E. You have my second inverted chord. So root position, C, E, G. Our first inverted chord, E, G, C. And our second inverted chord, G, C, E. Keep going to the keyboard so you can't see my hands anymore. Now, that was a very quick one for you, so kind of you want to go back and review that again, you can. Now I'm going to take the very basic chords, which is the 1, the 4, and the 5, and show the inversion of those. Rule number one: always turn your phone off before you get things started, because everybody's calling me now. Turn my phone off. The next is the 4 chord, which is the F chord. If I do the same thing with my F chord, sorry. If I do a thing with my next chord, I'm gonna do the same thing with that. Take my F chord, do the same thing. F, A, C, and then A, C, F, C, F, A. And then with my G chord, do the same thing. G, B, D, switch it. B, D, G, and then D, G, B. So you're giving all your chords a chance. That's our C chord inverted. You have our F chord inverted. And then my G chord inverted. Okay. Now, you're probably asking, what does that have to do with anything? I've been playing this way for so long, but what does it have to do with anything? Well, it's good, you know, if you get accustomed to doing. There's nothing wrong with that. But I play really fast. A lot of times when I play, I really try to get the style going. So I do. That's how I usually play. So what I usually do is what I try to do is I use my inverted chords. So if I would go for my C, F, and G, I try to go the easiest way around of doing it. So if I have my reposition C, I will go to my nearest F chord, which my F chord has F, A, and C. So I have my C right here. All I need is my F and A, which is next to my E and G. Just move it up one. Oops. So you have C, E, G, C, F, A. That's our 1-4 chord. 1, 4, 1, 4. Okay. Now for my 5 chord, I do the same thing. My 5 chord is G. It has G, B, and D, correct? All right, so I have my G already right here for my reposition chord. This is my reposition chord, which is my C chord. I'm trying to go to my G chord. I have my G right here. I need my B and D, which is right next to our C and E, so move everything down one. See how easy that is right there? Easier. It's much easier. Much easier to do that right there. Now if I take my C chord and invert it, have the same thing. My C chord, keep my C for my F chord, and I change my C and E to F and A. Okay, back to my C chord now. Now I'm trying to find my G chord, which is have my G right here. I just need my D and my B, so move these two down one. So you have, keep my G. See, now we have. Alright, same thing if I do my second inversion C chord. Now I have my fifth in the bass. Do the same thing there. I'm just trying to go to my F chord, so I have my C. So I need now is my F and A, which should be right here. So I go from here. Now I'm trying to find my G chord. Again, I have my G right here. Now I need is my B and D, which is here. So now I have. So a good exercise to do is go back and write down all the things we've talked about. It's good to have a pen and paper. I mean, I can spell everything out for you, but usually if you don't have this tutorial around, you can have your notebook already down and ready to do it for you. So our first inverted chords would be C chord, F chord, C chord, G chord. So the exercise I have assigned to you is that go through and find all your inverted chords and find all those ones that are really doing it. So start with the first one, which is by reposition C chord, and do you C, F, C, G, C in that area. And then inverted C chord, and do you C, F, G, C, C, F, C, G, C there. And then invert invert your C chord again, and do the same thing, C, F, C, G, C. Then when you get really good, you can do this right here. And then you take a song like Lord, Lift Your Name on High in the key of C and just do whatever. So my hand's not moving that much, is it? The second inversion. Invert again. So that's right there. You kind of take the inversion, kind of mix them up. So before you know it, you take all those chords, all those, and then try to mix them up. The basic thing right there. Next tutorial, we'll try to add a few more chords using the key of C again, because there are a ton of more chords we can learn. If you think about it, if we take the basic basic three chords we have, C, F, and G, so that's 3 chords. Then we have 3 inversions for each one: reposition, first inversion, and second inversion. So 3 times 3 is 9. So you have 9 different ways of playing. It just 9 different chords. You have 3 different ways, 9 chords total. And all those chords in between, you have all those chords. You just have tons of chords in between there. So just let that rest in there. Play that. Just play those things. Write those things down. And hopefully, the next tutorial we'll get into learning more chords, more basic chords in between the C, F, and G. We'll talk about chord progressions and just make everything nice and simple. And then before you know, add a few scales in there, and then before you know, we'll be having yourself a nice piano player. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please leave comments and feedback and let me know how it did. Hope you have fun with those chords. Goodbye. God bless.